So I started Cafe in 2009 after the financial crisis hit in the United States. And after spending 10 years in San Francisco doing community organizing, and I wanted to come back home and organize here because you could throw a rock in San Francisco and hit a community organizer. And I had just had Eva, my oldest, and we couldn't afford San Francisco anymore on top of everything. So I came back home and I started Cafe in 2009 with a handful of clergy and faith leaders and a little bit of money. And I just wanted to keep organizing here at home. I knew organizing had something to offer folks in Doñana County and in New Mexico, and I wanted to help be a part of that. I was 29 when I started Cafe, and I had a almost 1 year old. And so how did I grow? I like, in what ways didn't I grow? I was the executive director of Cafe most of my 30s. And that was really formational because I think at the time I still wanted to be liked. And as women, we're taught like that's the way you get things done is you're nice, you're polite, you don't make any waves. And by being executive director and organizing and inviting people to step into their own power, I had to model that for others too. So I learned to not be afraid of practicing my own power. And I think I also learned how to find courage in doing something scary because I was doing it with other people. So when we were organizing around raising the minimum wage, for example, so many people were calling and saying, like, what are you doing? There's no way this is going to happen. The city can't afford it. How dare you? Every day I was getting phone calls and emails. But I was doing it in community. And I was hearing stories every day of people trying to make ends meet on the wages that our city, our state, our country was currently offering. And that helped me do big, scary things. Um, let's see, what else do I want to say? I think I learned also who and what to care about the most. I think a lot of people would tell me, Sarah, you're not like, don't you feel bad? Or you should feel bad because you're making politicians or elected officials upset because of what you're trying to do. And you're making them look bad. And I realized that I didn't care. I didn't care if people felt bad. It was their job to make people's lives better if they're elected officials. And what I cared about were the people that lost everything to deportation or a foreclosure. And I cared about the people not making ends meet. Um, I didn't care about people's egos. And I think that upset people, but that was really important lesson for me to learn as a woman and as a leader. So now I'm in my 40s and like things like in life, like things just don't turn out the way that we expect. Things didn't turn out the way that I expected. Um, and again, like coming back to what's most important to me, what are the values that I want to ground in, and not caring about egos, even my own, still really important and still getting me through this new phase of my life. And I think I also deeply believe that in my 30s, if I had learned how to grieve and be angry and sad at the same time. I think I didn't let myself be sad enough as an executive director because I was a woman, like we had to be like tough, chingona, right? Not show a weakness. Um, that I really hid my sadness and my grief for how the world was. And like that just happens. Life happens that way. And I am finding that I am more powerful and clear when I let myself grieve. And that was a lesson that I think when I learned to step into my own power, like not being afraid of that and finding courage, same thing, not being afraid of my grief and stepping into that and allowing it to teach me, super important. So that flexibility and allowing life to be the teacher and allowing community to be teacher is real, still really important for me today. Do it now. You think you're going to have time? You think you're going to have more time to make it better or to make it perfect? Um, but you won't. You can't guarantee, like, there's no guarantee that you'll have all the time that you need. So do it now. And whether the do it now is building power in order to create the conditions to make change, do it now. Whether it's like, I'm doing my one-to-ones or this issue is really hard, and you're dragging your feet, figure it out, do it now. Ask yourself, what are you willing to do to compel a future where there's less suffering and where people thrive? What are you willing to do? And what are you willing to do differently? Because most organizers aren't willing to do those things. And it's simple things like not being liked, things like asking hard questions or asking questions in general, building those relationships, making those demands, training people to do the same. Don't drag your feet, do it now. And like, quit your quit the excuses, quit the excuses. I had so many. So that's what I would say. Yeah. My hope for Cafe and organizers. First of all, I love Cafe deeply. I'm really proud of what we built. And my hope for the people that are continuing that work, take yourself seriously. If you don't do that first, no one will. Take yourself seriously. Don't settle for playing on the edges of issues. Win things locally. There are people here that can't afford rent. There are people here that have health needs that can't make an appointment for 6 months out. Win things locally. Like, don't wait on Santa Fe. Don't wait on a partner or a coalition to tell you what to do. Build power with those that don't have any. I want to see cafe leaders and clergy leading the way to transformative futures. I want to see leaders and clergy on the front pages again. I want cafe leaders pissing off the right people because they're angry and deeply in love with their communities. That's my hope for the future of cafe.